We will not unduly whine or complain, but reason among ourselves and see what can be done to remedy this state of affairs. Life is a conflict. You have to fight your way through it, whether you will it or not. That's right. Those of us who are able to fight most stubbornly live, accomplish most, and to them go the laurels, the palms, and triumph of our civilization and world. Islam.
You are now tuned into the Cozmo. You show. You show. You are now tuned into the Cozmo. You show. You show.
Gratitude for tuning in.
So why don't we start with you, Brother Chairman? Can you please introduce yourself for our listeners?
Yes, indeed. Well, first, let me premise with expressing the sentiments of revolutionary appreciation to you, to my fellow panelists, and to the people in general for giving me the opportunity to be online with you. I'm the international chairman of the POCC/BPPC, which is an acronym for the Prisoners of Conscience Committee / Black Panther Party Cubs. One of our mantras is that we are the great-grandchildren of Garvey, the offspring of Malcolm, and the ideological cubs of the Panthers. It's an international organization. I'm also the son of Chairman Fred Hampton, who was assassinated by the federal government December 4th, 1969, along with the defense captain Mark Clark, as well as the son of Akua and Jerry, formerly known as Deborah Johnson. We say it's a tough act to follow, but we try our best. Again, it's to express revolutionary appreciation to have an opportunity to be online with you today.
Thank you, good brother. And Sister Agusi, can you introduce yourself for our listeners, please?
Indeed. Peace. First, I want to just give thanks to you for bringing me on with you two wonderful brothers. I really appreciate that. It's a very important topic. My name is Akua Agusi, and I'm a children's book author, a revolutionary children's book author, community organizer, a mother before anything. And I also have two uncles that are Black Panthers, Ronald and Ronald Freeman.
Right on.
And I'm a Pan-Africanist.
That's right. Right on. I see we have a caller here. If you're listening in, caller, if you can please hold on for a minute and let us just get our show started here. The title of the show says Christmas. Are you still teaching little white lies to little black children, so-called black children? And I was filling in the listeners that I put together a video on YouTube, the Cosmo Ill channel, that dealt with this issue. And it inspired me to create this show to go a little bit more in depth regarding the issue because as far as I'm concerned, it's really not just about Christmas. There's deeper issues behind that. It's insofar as Christmas, but also just the lies, the children's stories, everything from the public school. We just passed through Thanksgiving with quote-unquote Turkey Day, where they teach the lies about Pilgrims and Indians. And for those of us that are aware of our Moorish history, we know how it relates to them hunting down the Moors of Baghdad, Turkey. To bring it current into the news, Fox host Megyn Kelly, the other day on Wednesday, she assured the children that Santa Claus was so-called white, and then she also stated that Jesus was so-called white. And I'm going to give you a quick quote right now. It says, for all you kids watching, Santa is just white. Maybe we should have a black Santa, but he is what he is. And then she followed that up with, Jesus was a white man also. So the question is, how important is it to teach our children the truth at an early age about things such as this? And in a two-part aspect to the question, is it selfishness on the part of the parent to hold on to these rituals under the guise of just wanting their children to experience a fun childhood? Sister Agusi, you write children's books. Brother Chairman, do you mind if I start with her first?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Well, yeah, as I said, I made a career out of telling children the truth and reminding parents that it's okay by them seeing the reactions from the children reading the book. I think it's crucial for them to know the truth and to have a choice. They get to a certain age where when they do find out the truth, they're going to feel like, either why did you lie to me, or they're smarter than you because they figured it out and you didn't. So in order to develop them where they're at and give them the opportunity to be who they're supposed to be, I think you should absolutely be honest with them. But the thing is this, you can give them the truth according to how they can process it. There's a way to tell them things. It doesn't mean you talk to them like they're an adult, but you tell them a way that they can actually process the information and get the point and be settled with it. But tricking them because that's just what you do in America, I'm 100% against. And I've seen some of the ugly backlash from that. You know, and my generation, generations before me and after me, these children, if they're going to be who they're supposed to be, need to have all the information that we have, at least, at our disposal, so that they can build on top of that. Or else we're going to keep getting to the point in the blueprint where we're not doing anything new. You know, we go through this process of maybe late teens, early 20s, if you're lucky, you come into your consciousness, quote unquote, and you start seeing the real picture, how this country and colonization has affected the world. And then you're upset. Then you say, what am I going to do? But we could forget all of that at that age, that crucial age, where they could start actually building institutions and directing their focus so that whatever their personal gift is can come and actually help us build a community. Instead of being,
I don't mean to stop you, but it seems that you're breaking up a little bit.
Okay.
Does everyone else? Oh, all right, go ahead. Continue, because I can hear you now.
So, yeah, I just... I've seen some really good results from children as young as 7 years old. I started telling my son just ugly truths from 7, and he was able to process it. He even knows how to contain himself amongst our oppressor, amongst enemies, amongst people who aren't enemies but don't know better than to not participate in certain things. He understands they just don't have that information, and he doesn't hold it against them. If he has the opportunity to enlighten them, then he does that, which empowers him. So I think, you know, the truth is a wonderful thing to share, and it creates a bond. Your child is going to trust you more. Like, okay, you know, my mom kept it real with me, or, you know, my dad kept it real with me and let me know that the whole idea of Christmas or Thanksgiving is this, but this is how it's looked at in this country. This is why it was created. This is how other people look at it. You know, this is how we're going to handle it, and have an honest conversation about it, opposed to just, you know. So, yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Brother Chairman, can you speak to the issue? And there's another question I want to ask you this, but how important is it to teach the children and youth, and what about the parents? What's their responsibility in all this? I mean, after all, Santa Claus, supposedly a harmless little children's story. So,
well, the deal is we recognize the fact that everything is political, and we're not referencing that of electoral politics or plantation politics with words, terms, fashion, holidays. The system that oppresses us recognizes that, and the sister she made some phenomenal points, and amongst other things, point out the fact that when state laying out these truths to youngsters, to youth in particular, taking into account their age, as well as the fact that, you know, we the situations that, you know, because the deal is all of our people, and this hurts to say this, but we damage goods, and we have to take that into account, and also that with Black Panther Party say information is raw material for new ideas, but we also understand that even a certain being knowledgeable, especially with children, it can be dangerous. I flashed back to a situation. I think I was about 11, 12 years old. A little brother, he stayed a few houses down from me. He was pretty streetwise cat. And I recall we going to his household, and him going along with the facade, the play, when his mother was talking about the whole thing about Santa Claus bringing the toys in and so on and so forth. And I was like, man, what's she talking about? And he was like, be cool, just let her go along with this. And because the deal is, our people, in fact, the youth, they have a certain amount of intelligence. And later on, and this kind of goes back to what Sister pointed out earlier, that what you will see is when they grasp these facts, a lot of times you will see it can have some long-range detrimental effects where they have a lack of respect for their parents. To say, well, man, either you lied to me or you real naive. You don't know what's going on, so on and so forth. So we must understand what Stephen Biko said. Black Conscious Movement said that our people in particular must be able to grasp the ability to distinguish intelligence from the ability to articulate. And the mass of people, again, we come in, we know a certain amount of logic that ain't no white dude riding around no sleigh with no reindeers dropping these toys off. But we become trained to start regurgitating this ruling class rhetoric, this madness, this insanity. And after a while, it becomes normal. As Asada Shakur said, with being oppressed, you have to constantly be able to remember and distinguish what's normal and what's abnormal. And if you're not careful, after a while, everything from Thanksgiving to Christmas, different things, we become infected with it and detrimentally impacted by it. And it's difficult for us to take concessions, like getting days off from work without falling for it. But what Franz Fanon said, we should be able to accept certain concessions, but never compromise on our principles. And our principles got to be, man, these different pagan holidays, we know this is not just toys for toys' sake. It's a strategic purpose. That everything the system does, believe it, it's a political basis to it.
All right, I want to stop you there. I do want to come back to that political issue. We have a caller. They've been patiently waiting online for about 12 minutes now. So I'm going to bring them in and let them ask a couple of questions, and we're going to get back to it. We have about 15 minutes left, and I want to get into the economic aspect of it, which ties into the political aspects of what you're referring to. So let me bring this caller on right here, right now. Let me see if I can get him on. Caller, you're on the air with Cozmo Ill. Can you introduce yourself? Caller, are you there? All right, looks like they left us. So why don't we go ahead and ask this question? The question is it counterproductive to the struggle for no other reason, if for no other reason than the economic hemorrhaging of money which spills out of the community? And what is the bigger issue at hand economically for us when it comes to our people carrying on these types of traditions? And Brother Chairman, if you could speak to that, and then Sister Agusi, I'll be coming right to you.
Well, aside from just the economical impact with us, I think it also, not to harp on this too much, but the whole thing about the political impact on too much. Our children, not within our community, need to be clear that any white man that's come through the chimney, through the front door, or the back door, whether he's dressed in all red or all blue, whatever the case may be, 10 times out of 10, this presents a danger. If we get them to the position of feeling comfortable with even that imagery of someone, this image of white man coming down through the chimney and dropping these toys, giving us some toys, this sets the stage where liberalism or comfortability, where, you know what I'm saying, with the police, social worker, who have you, coming in to our communities, coming in and talking to our children, with our children not even understanding that no, this individual is not coming to bring us toys. In a lot of cases, coming to take daddy and mama away.
This is true. Looks like we have our caller back. Let me try to bring him on one more time. Caller, you're on the air with Cosmo Ill. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
All right. Can you introduce yourself, brother?
I'm kind of just here to listen, you know what I'm saying? I don't think I'm ready for the spotlight like that.
Oh, all right. Did you have any questions?
Oh, yes. With birthdays be in the same category as holidays?
Sister Agusi, Brother Chairman?
You want to hit that, Sister?
Yeah, I don't think birthdays are are the same. I think that the way birthdays are celebrated perhaps can be re-examined depending on how that's happening. If it's just solely surrounding the fact that the child is getting gifts and having, quote-unquote, their day to do whatever they want, then I don't necessarily agree with that. I like to have a sit-down conversation with my children, build with them on where they've been, where they're going, where they're at, retell them their birth story, get reconnected, just discuss the fact that they're about to begin a new year of life and that this is their New Year's. What they mean to me, just surround them with love and maybe a new tool or two for them to use in the coming year, as well as, appreciating their existence with something else. But I can say this about my son who's 12. In situations where I can't, get him any particular gift, if at all, if, some circumstance like that, he's completely okay with that because emotionally and just, responsibly, we have that respect for each other and that bond, and he still feels like he got something. He still feels special and knows that anything that we celebrate is not about anything material.
This is true. If I want to speak to that, growing up in my family, the emphasis wasn't on the material aspects of birthdays, or even when I was younger, before my family decided to leave the Christmas traditions alone. That the emphasis was placed on the thought and the caring and being in our culture. A lot of times the gifts that we give are things that are handmade, handcrafted. They may be accompanied by things that a lot of times the children need, like clothes, shoes. You may spend a little bit more to get them some of the things that they want. But the emphasis is on providing them with useful gifts and, kind of weaning them off of the materialistic brand name type things, because, again, that plays into the economic question, which, Brother Chairman, I want you to go into it. Our people just came from so-called Black Friday, where we pour all of our money out of the community on this quote-unquote Black Friday, when it's supposed to be sales, which we already know. They mark stuff up 60%, they mark it down 40%, and call that a sale. And then right after that, we follow it up with Christmas with this enormous pressure of having to provide gifts and things to our children, and yet we're oppressed economically, and we could be doing a lot more with those resources. What are some of the solutions in relationship to that? How can we combat that enormous pressure that is economic pressure that is placed on the parents in our communities during throughout all of the year, but especially during these times, Brother Chairman?
Well, the reality is we got dealing with that situation, as well as every other aspect of us being oppressed. We have to continuously, when I say we have to organizers, have to be continuously finding innovative and creative ways to tap into the community, to win the minds and hearts of the people, without dealing with a dogma or elitism, and not becoming disconnected from the community. We know children, they want to have fun, and they go through, they want toys, so on and so forth. So we are realists. We acknowledge this, and we have to try to find different phenomena. So we have to study, even don't, as I said, do not become disconnected from the community. Put our ear to the ground. Put our ear to the community. Study the people. See what type of phenomena that we can use, that we can tweak, that we can, to make work in our interest. But at the same time, not compromising our principles. Still, maintaining who we are. And it's a difficult task. Because we are out resourced. We dealing with a major propaganda machine. This is the United States itself. This is the big kahuna of capitalism. They are magicians. They are masterful at making you believe that you want something that you have no desire. They can run everything from a particular gym shoe to a particular new food that they market to you, and just bombard you with it over TV a few times. Adults, that's long. Children, adults start have you have a desire for it. So we must acknowledge that. But again, it's a difficult job. We got to acknowledge that. It's not a question. We don't want to come in that someone is being just on a morality basis, like it's a bad child because they want this, they like this, so on and so forth. Because peer pressure is something else. We say peer pressure, not just with that of youth. You know what I'm saying? As Field Marshal George Jackson said, capitalism not only affects the economy, but it affects the psychic of the people. And we must acknowledge that, but always having our ear to the ground, seeing what type of music or phenomena or tactics and tools that we can use to win the people to the right side of the question, be on the right side of history, and be able to distinguish a line from that of whose interests are you working in, the system or the people.
Right on. Sister Agusi, what about the public schools? I find it interesting that they still carry on these traditions of, let's take, for example, Thanksgiving, the so-called Pilgrim and Indian thing, where we know at higher levels of education, even in the public school system, at higher levels of education, you learn about the atrocities committed by the Europeans against the indigenous on these shores. Yet, even though as adults in these higher realms of education, and it's known that this is false, they continue to still teach this on the elementary level and the middle school level, and still carry out these rituals in relationship to that. So, what can parents do? Ultimately, we know they can homeschool, but if they're not able to homeschool, some parents depend on the school system in some respect to kind of have their children throughout those hours where they have to work. So what are some innovative solutions for those type of parents to help combat this type of indoctrination?
Well, I think that the brainwashing has been able to continue because of our participation. So I think action and lack thereof is the easiest way to start turning that around. If we don't send our children to their school because they are disrespecting our beliefs or our culture, our principles, they lose out money when those children aren't at school. But when you let them know, no, they're not sick, no, I'm letting you know because this is disrespectful to us. I'm not going to allow my child to participate. You are not going to dress my child up like a pilgrim or any other of your murderers, rapists, or terrorists. It's not going to happen. Then I think we could see a turnaround because they're money motivated. They'll let us talk, they'll let us march, they'll let us throw any kind of fit we want to. But when we affect their pockets, then they're going to pay attention and say, okay, well, we got to, compromise in some kind of way so that we're not hurting. But, and again, like you said, that's just if you do choose to go ahead and send your children there. But making sure our children don't have an emotional attachment like some of the adults do, where they feel like they're missing out or they're uncared for if they don't participate in these things. And I've heard lots of people say, well, there's the only time I have time off of work. I mean, they almost force you to celebrate their holidays by closing the stores and shutting the country down and making it where it's the only convenient time for you to have a little mini family reunion. So if you go and at least have some kind of conversation surrounding things that don't involve this ritualistic holiday that's going on. Because, I mean, we love to celebrate. African people, black folks, whatever you want to call yourself, with melanin, we love to celebrate. We love to enjoy each other. We love to build. There's nothing wrong with that. But then you find yourself like, okay, do I make this stance and not come and show up and socialize with my family and friends to prove to them that I'm not participating in the country? Or you can go there and build with them and let them know why you don't, and not necessarily why they shouldn't, because I think people own decisions when they come to their own conclusion. Okay, I don't want to do this. Okay, Chairman Fred does not celebrate and he's still happy. I need that. Okay, man, he didn't go into debt this Christmas like I did and he's still happy. His children still happy. Okay, I can see it now. If we are like living examples of what we're saying we want our whole community to be, I think we'll see a spread. Well, we start fast. We started by, we see it, something looks fly, something looks nice, somebody's happy, like, okay, I like that. I like how he did that. I'm going to do that.
I'm going to stop you right there because I'm going to stop you right there. We have a minute and 30 seconds left, so closing remarks, Brother Chairman?
I'll just, right on. I know the time is of essence, but right on with Sister, what she just laid out, powerful points. Again, dealing with our people and dealing with our community in that situation is realist. But again, still there's certain things we can't compromise. So I just want to say right on as she laid out. We got a lot of work to do. Right on. Well said. Yes, indeed.